start with, like, how did the concept of the show, Contact, that title, how did that come to life?
It started at the beginning of the year when I got really connected with water. So I was swimming a lot and I became really relaxed and more quiet, I think, inside. And so I started to just connect more with myself, and then realizing how grateful I was for nature. I've always been really deeply passionate and in love with nature, but when I was spending that much time in and around it, that became even more so. I'm part Mi'kmaq from the East Coast. My father's side has Mi'kmaq, Indian, and Aboriginal. So I started reaching out more to my aunts and uncles in Newfoundland, asking them questions about Mi'kmaq people, and started researching Mi'kmaq themes and stories. That's where the story of Sky Woman came from. It's not a Mi'kmaq story, but it introduced me to Aboriginal storytelling. So then I made contact, like, literally with my family on the East Coast about my Mi'kmaq ancestors, asking questions. Who was my great-grandmother? What was her name? What was her story? How did that unfold in our family? Why didn't we talk about it? Why didn't I know about it until much later in my life? And then I started reading books. And the Mi'kmaq stories, like, I would say this for every Aboriginal story that I've read about nature and the creation stories and ancestry, are very, very magical, beautiful stories, really, really touching. There's also really sad stories because of colonization, but really stories that reminded me of, like, wow, this is why I am, I think, the way that I am. Because ever since I was young, I felt really, really connected with nature in a way that, like, seems abnormal. Like, I would build medicine wheels when I was a teenager. That's a very Aboriginal thing to do. And I was doing that when I was a kid. So it helped me, like, to understand part of my people and to understand in context to the time that we're in and our relationship to nature. And I want to understand nature from a more Indigenous perspective, especially the storytelling and the relationship with the animals and the plants and how we interact with them and treat them. So I think that's where, so it's like contact with myself, contact with my ancestry, contact with nature, and contact with the current world and the people I interact with now. That's where the name came from.
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks.